This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
3, 2, 1.
Rolling Stone raves. This is how Wolf of Wall Street comes at you.
You like it?
Yes!
4 stars.
That makes me happy. I'm sorry. I'm a sap for that. Hello?
Leonardo DiCaprio's swaggering performance is the wildest thing he's ever put on screen.
So, what do you say?
Love you, Jordan.
Love you too.
Scorsese delivers another cinematic landmark.
Trying to make a name for ourselves.
The Wolf of Wall Street. Rated R.
Boom!
Do you feel anything for what you've done?
From day one, I wanted to work this out.
I never wanted it to go that far. I picked us.
The Irishman. Rated R.
Ernest, you're a good man, aren't you?
You got me.
This Friday, experience the movie Rolling Stone calls earth-shaking. Killers of the Flower Moon is epic. The best movie of the year.
You're gonna make trouble. Make it big.
A new kind of Scorsese masterpiece.
Coyote wants money. That money's real nice.
Killers of the Flower Moon. Rated R. Only in theaters Friday.
We mixed, we loaded, we edited.
Sometimes we get so deep into conversation that we have separate segments worthy of their own place in the sun.
Here is a reshuffled mini episode.
We looked at their recent movies. So yeah, Wolf of Wall Street,
Wolf of Wall Street was one that I could not stand.
Oh no. And
so,
just I love Rob Reiner in it. But there's one, I mean, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is like I don't need anyone to, attack a person who's infamous to know that they're bad. But I think one of the issues I have is they make him look so cool. And
yeah,
I
really pushed that, right?
And he's like, I'm trying to make make you really hate him. I'm like, yeah, I think you just, I felt like I was watching Charlie Sheen, the biopic. I didn't feel
exactly.
And I'm supposed to hate this guy. And Terrence Winter's been reliable. There's another Sopranos writer. It was just one of those where I was just like, I mean, the cast is good. McConaughey's amusing. I'm just,
Jonah Hill's my favorite part of the movie, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
It felt like a modern, like a recent Scarface, where I don't like Scarface because it's just excess violence. It's not a plot to it to me as well. Like it's just let's just get like cheap reaction. And the Wolf of Wall Street was like that. It's like, all right, now he has more money and there's more naked women and more, more booze and drugs, and then more drugs and booze and naked women, and then he's getting more money, and they're doing more stuff at work and crazier. It's just like, all right, they're just excess.
I once got in a conversation with someone about that. They're like, it's supposed to show excess. I'm like, yeah, but I got it after the first 20 minutes. I don't need to keep some critics were harsh on it. They're like, I feel like we're watching a Skinamax movie. I'm like, well, I think there should have just been like one giant party going out of control, and that's all we needed. I mean, I think my issue is I've seen so many of those movies, like from Boiler Room to Wall Street.
True.
To where I was just like, I didn't get anything new. And so I was like, I understand completely why he wanted to do this. I just was like, okay. But yeah, no, I would call that his corruption epic trilogy.
Yeah. I'd call that mid-tier Scorsese.
It was like it or hated. I've seen some people, like my brother surprisingly saw it and he was blown away by it. He thought it was a very funny and mind-blowing movie. And I don't think he's ever seen anything, by Scorsese,
Yeah. I could see it being fun for somebody, but blown away. I mean, I know it's subjective, but that surprises me that somebody could be blown away by that movie.
It was hard for me not to walk out the theater, to be honest.
My co-host John made the mistake of going to it with his grandmother, who's a big movie gal.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty awkward. And
awkward.
There's nothing worse too when you're seeing a movie with an adult, but they're not used to seeing something being over the top. And I'm like, I'm not offended by this. You're offended by this. So let's dial this back.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
But I hear you, man. I get it. For those who do like it, I get it. But I just do not respond to it. And I think it's just I think because we've seen Scorsese do so good when he is on all cylinders, I just felt very disinterested. Like I just did not feel like the time was well used there. Like Goodfellas, I would equate to kind of like Lincoln and LA Confidential. Like it's 3 hours, but I don't notice it because it goes by so fast. I don't feel it.
No, I think it, and also for me, because it came out around like that Oscar time buzz, and everyone was like, "Oh, it got so much hype too."
Yes,
I think that's what hurts, and that's not his fault necessarily that it got the hype, but it just was like, I'm just like, man, like this is long, and I'm just tired. And I may sound weird, but I'm tired of seeing big like crazy party, crazy this, like. I'm not getting anything. Yeah, I'm not getting anything. And also, I just look at it too, where I'm like, I kind of like it where I'm like, I see something and I kind of see, oh yeah, he was a little bit like smart with how he covered it up. But I'm like, they were so obvious and reckless. It's like, you should have been like caught and taken down like an hour and a half earlier, like, because you're just so reckless with it anyway. Like, so I'm like, come on now.
I don't know. It's just seeing everything hit the fan gets very redundant when you've just seen it done so many times. It's just like, okay, well, I know how it ends, so I'm not really interested by it.
You've seen it done by him so many times.
Yeah, he's always had an interesting way of framing all the different detectives, giving a subpoena warning, and I don't know what it is. I think it got to that point where I was just like, and then
pretty much.
Then he comes out with The Irishman, and that's another one where the people who I thought would like it didn't like it. The people who did like it weren't the people I expected. It took me 2 days to finish that one. Just 'cause...
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, definitely fair. I think I think the opinions were too far both ways. Honestly, I thought it was a fine movie. It didn't suck, but it wasn't great. I think it was just fine. The de-aging was a little weird.
Yeah,
it was.
But I thought the story was pretty interesting. Like, I just didn't think it took them forever to tell it. But I thought it was a fine story. It was pretty well acted. It was just kind of an okay movie, kind of something that like we've seen him, like, okay, dude, like we've seen you do this a bunch of times. But I thought it was just fine. Like I thought the pendulum was kind of crazy as far as like reaction to that movie.
Yeah, it was one of those. It's like those who have never followed his stuff didn't know what it was about. I'm like, well, why are you here? And then I see all these other guys talk about it. And
I'll say to what you kind of opened with, Cam, like all the big name actors in that. I think the first thing that I heard when like Scorsese's doing this movie and look who's in it. Like, so there's like that name power with it where it's like,
yep.
A lot of times you'll say his name first and then it's still, he has like these A-list actors in it, but it's like, okay, all these actors are in it, but Marty's directing it. So it's like that's what's like the lead of it. So it's like that, because like, like you guys were saying, the reaction was so great that like, and I think for a lot of studio, I think Netflix, that was the Netflix one.
Right.
You want that. Like sometimes you want to get that reaction because they don't care if you or I love it. You are subscribing, you're watching, they can count that. It's getting a lot of attention. Okay, cool. That's what we want. The studio doesn't care if you pay a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you love it. If you pay, they got your money and the box office looks good. Hey, keep it moving.
Pretty much it. They were ready for it.
Yeah.
I think my main issue is Pacino seems kind of disconnected from the whole thing. Like, I don't know if he's just getting to that age or what, but like even Cattell's character was apparently a very violent guy. Like, he's the kind of guy like would have probably, I think he got someone's eyeball like on a fork one time. And so I was just kind of like, man, like we need to know more about this guy because like he's played by a great actor, but they don't really do anything with him. What do I know?
That's almost one where there's too many big names in it, I feel.
Yes. People complain about Anna Paquin. I'm like, well, she's just playing the role that was on the paper.
Yeah, like what is there to complain about?
There's really nothing to do
in that movie.
Right.
I have heard that though, but that's kind of weird.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of these gender wars still happening online, and it's not as apparent as it was in the 90s where it's like, man, tell me you're a pig without telling me you're a pig. But like that, I will see some people just like on the edges, just saying some nasty stuff. I'm like, what, did you really just say that? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you're only as good as the script. Sometimes you can go above it, but like, I don't know.
No.
It is wild how they're still unsure how he died. And Scorsese was like, yeah, I'm just going to go on the guy's word. He killed this guy. And, then we get to Killers of the Flower Moon. And that's another one, I was kind of in the minority. I think it's an important story to tell. I just felt like they really whitewashed the character, making him bigger than he was.
We're in agreement. We're in agreement.
And I'm surprised that people who I thought wouldn't like it really liked it. And then same deal here. People who I thought were going to like it were disappointed. And then I saw other people saying that it's the best movie of the year. I'm like, okay. Like Spielberg even did a panel with his pal Marty and he's like, let's talk about this. So,
yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I think it helped that I read the book beforehand. So I mean, I knew the story. I guess if your first exposure to the story was the movie, I think it's like, okay, well, they could have done this and that and that. Yeah. But I thought the movie was well executed and I enjoyed it. The runtime certainly didn't get to me like the Irishman's runtime did.
No, that's for sure.
I will say that De Niro, he had a bizarre accent. I didn't know what kind of Southern stuff he was going for.
It was like a Oklahoma.
Oh, Oklahoma, baby.
Kind of.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. But I kind of waver though. Like I know what people are saying about whitewashing the movie, but I almost wonder, and I think Deremy and I have talked about this a little bit, but I almost wonder, like, knowing what actually happened, like if you focus on like the story around like the natives and the family, it's almost a little too depressing.
Yeah.
Just knowing what actually happened. It's almost like it's almost too depressing to be in that that world.
Be there for
like
too long.
No,
and I think that's where like a documentary. So I agree with that. I just think I would have taken a different perspective from it, and I thought like seeing how like that tribe like got their riches, and I would have focused on Lily Gladstone, her family. Her family was a very interesting dynamic, and I would have, to me, told it through that dynamic because they seemed like a prominent family, and you had the interesting thing where like the mom, like Lily Gladstone's character was like the loyal daughter, but her mom seemed to kind of favor the daughter who was kind of wild.
Yes.
And I would have like kind of focused it through that family more than like just the whole tribe. I wouldn't have done that. But I would have rather seen it through those eyes than through DiCaprio and like De Niro's eyes. That's me.
Totally.
Yeah. But then you have DiCaprio and De Niro, you would have somebody else, I suppose, and then the movie might not get made. So
don't get me wrong, that it's not an easy balance. I found it interesting how some Navajo guys were praising it while others were complaining about it being too violent. And it's like, well, it's so long ago, I don't even know what the actual atrocities were like. Other than burning.
That's what I mean. The atrocities in the movie it's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
It was really bad. Like,
yeah.
and the family. I think they were
Poisoning.
a prominent family because they got preyed upon, not necessarily for any other reason. It seemed like it's just like De Niro's character, like the guy just kind of like sought them as prey. So that's the part of it where I'm like, damn, that's like yeah, that's just like a depressing story. But I see what you're saying, Deremy. Like they could have taken different angles with that. Scorsese's not really the guy to do that though, so it'd be interesting to see like that story told from like a native perspective. But then unfortunately, that might not be greenlit, and then not as many people are seeing it.
Which is
unfortunately,
yeah. Which is the biggest problem. That's the big problem.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's what's also annoying. Like you guys got to meet Crystal Storm one of these days. She's an awesome audio drama creator, and she talked about kind of there's woke and then there's fake woke, people actually trying to be progressive and awesome, but not doing some of the same problems that we're trying to avoid. And so I guess you could say it's well intended, but it's still kind of stuck in 40s kind of movie territory. Like change the actors. It's not a John Wayne movie by any stretch, but it is kind of one of those where you're just like, it might have been interesting seeing them take some of the guys adapting Tony Hillerman's work and just do their take on it. So this is where it's interesting for Scorsese. Like this is kind of as close as he's going to get to a Western, and much like Spielberg, I'm surprised he hasn't done one earlier.
Yeah. I think that you're right, probably is the closest to it. And I know Thomas and I have had this conversation before about Scorsese in that movie. I don't necessarily like blast him when it comes to it. I think that the intentions were well there. Like, and he did adapt, and he consulted with members of that tribe, and he did his research. So I'm not like someone to blast him on it. I just feel like, to the main point, like that's why we still fight for like representation and diversity, because like he did the best he could. That's a story he can't tell. Just like I couldn't tell growing up in the 40s in an Italian neighborhood, like seeing those gangs. I'm not going to tell it the way Marty Scorsese can tell it, because that's what he grew up in. You know what I mean? So I think there's just, even if I do the best, I have the best intention, the best research, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be as authentic. And I think I don't blast Marty for it. I think that's just a bigger problem, because the last scene in that movie, I think I see what he was trying to do, but I think it totally misses the mark though, where he's trying to show like, oh, our society today is caught up in like true crime, and we kind of just are desensitized to these like horrible things. But when I watched that, everybody around, no one understood what that was. It was just like, that was just the ending. They just commented on what happened, and that's how he ended the movie. And I'm like, I think there was better ways to kind of show like this atrocity. No one talks about it. Why does it take this movie to talk about this atrocity?
Isn't that what he literally said though? And at the end,
he said a bit of it, but then he traumatizes DiCaprio confronting De Niro, which didn't happen that way. So I'm like, okay.
You mean that in Thomas? You mean that scene?
No, the play, the radio play, right?
I don't recall him saying it that directly.
I almost thought he did say it that directly, but maybe I need to watch again. That almost goes. I guess it's what you're. I guess maybe this is an exception, but I don't want to be spoon fed that
I kind of do, because I think that's an important part and I'm with you. I don't like being spoon fed. Like I totally agree. I just felt like for that, I think if that's the message you're trying to show this, like the problem is people aren't getting spoon fed. We're hiding it. So then don't continue to hide it. Show them, put it in their face.
Like he shows it, but then he kind of just goes on, and I'm just like, okay, let's get to the point. I'm not.
Yeah, right.
So I think I'd like to see what he does next, but I'd also like it to not be 3 hours at this point. I feel like he's done that to death. I'm like, because you were mentioning The Aviator and some other stuff. I was like, yeah, those are about 2 hours, 3 hours if they're on TV, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
Frank Sheeran. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, you said right.
Under the contract, management can only fire a driver on very specific charges. So, do you ever show up late?
No.
Do you have any moving violations?
No.
Do you drink on the job?
No.
Do you ever hit anybody?
On a job?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
All right, then. We don't have nothing to worry about.
If we jump to The Irishman, I'm going to fire some stats at you. 309 scenes, 108 days, 117 locations, involving 2 to 3 moves a day, carrying 9 cameras at times, and these cameras could have 3 lenses on them.
Yes.
For the special CGI work
yes,
required.
The computer-generated,
the ILM technique. Do you think this is the biggest film you've ever done?
Not intentionally.
Hiya, Frank. Would you like to be a part of history?
Yes, I would. What else you say? Now's not the time to not say.
No doubt. I think probably even more than the CGI, it was all the different locations.
Of course.
And that's something I've always worked with in Goodfellas in many locations, in Casino, and that sort of thing. So this was something that was planned. We went in knowingly.
Sure.
Yeah.
And why did you go back? Why did you decide this was the film that was going to take you back to the world of mobsters and gangsters? Because you've said previously in your career that maybe you've had enough. What is it about this story that brought you back in?
Looking back, the last time Bob De Niro and I worked together was Casino. It was 1995. Right around that time, we were talking about doing other kinds of films together, but he grew one way, I went another way, and whenever we'd meet, we could not necessarily agree with each other's new projects. You follow? No, that's not for me, or maybe we should do something like this, and we kept working with other writers, different projects, different scripts, until finally it became a situation where we knew we had to deal with each other again.
Yeah. I'd also like to compliment you that this film is 3 hours 20.
3:20, I think, including those titles, which I'm still working on, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have to fix something at the end. I forgot a few things.
I love that we live in a world where people are worried about everyone having such a small attention span, and you step up to the plate and go, no.
No, please take your time. No, in the same, maybe it's not, maybe a lot of people won't go for that sort of thing, but I think if you invest the time, it might be enriching to your life, I think, whether you agree with the story or not. But it might be interesting to make you see, to take the time to see and let the resonance carry.
Yep.
And I hope it's really important in our time now to focus.
Yes.
That's an important thing. And to ignore the mess, to push that away and focus. Maybe you could sit. Actually, you watch something on television for 3 or 4 hours straight.
Yeah.
So why not?
It can be
done.
Go
to a theater, relax. If you get a nice theater, nice seats, and just go.
Yeah.
Go with it. Let us take you into that world.
We'll return after these messages.
Hey, it's Brent Pope, the host of Breakfast with Brent Pope. You've seen me on some of your favorite TV shows saying things like, "Give it up, Jimmy. You got to sink this putt to win." On Breakfast with Brent Pope, I sit down with guests from the entertainment world, and we do it all over breakfast. Or should I say Brentfast? Every week on Brentfast, you get inside Hollywood info and tips, great breakfast recs and foodie debates. Most of all, you get the most delightful 30 minutes of your week. So dig in. It's Brentfast time. Listen at Brentfast.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are found.
Welcome to the Better Call Daddy Show, the #1 podcast where we admit, no matter what happens, Daddy has the advice we need to fix our problems. Introducing my dad, Mr. Wayne Friedman.
That was good. It would be nice if you could also sing a song.
What would the song be?
You love Paris in the springtime. I just made up some words to it.
I love Rena in the springtime. I love Rena in the fall.
That's right. That's good enough.
What I do is interview people of interest, share it with my dad, and get my dad's advice. My dad is my hero. Nobody's got my daddy.
Oh boy, let's go to Grandpa.
You like to be a little rebel. I tried to rein you in. I have a daughter named Rena that acts just like I did. She's got a son that is not only just like me, but it's just like her. I'm your host, Rena Friedman Watts. Invite your friends, subscribe, and I'm excited to take this journey with you. Let's dive in.
She was teasing this guy with this sword, and she accidentally cut his dick.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
And then he started to enjoy it.
I started going down the phone sex rabbit hole. You've got the wankers, and they jerk off in 5 seconds, and then they're done because A, they don't want to spend money, and B, they're quick.
My stepfather had mania. If I'm yelling at one of my kids, that fear, that rigid fear.
Mom even said to me, I hope you have a kid just like you.
There are lots of people that are being bought and sold right now for profit.
If you think you're going to kill yourself, shut up and kill yourself. If you're not going to kill yourself, then shut up, smarten up, and it's all on you.
The bullshit has to end.
Wow.
When I was 11 years old, I was raped and molested over the course of a year.
What Jeffrey Epstein had was a sickness inside of him.
I am Evan Castrilli Carmichael. I could do anything that I believe that I can.
I'm so excited too. Let's go.
Next on Better Call Daddy with my mom and my grandpa.
Stay tuned.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up